Hey friends, welcome into another edition of 4 Minutes on Friday. I wanted to talk about something today that I had read and was reminded of. It's from Seth Godin. Seth Godin is probably one of, if not the most prolific blogger in the world. And I just did a couple of little quick research on him and his blog. This is something you can find on Google. His blog is easily one of the most read in the world. It counts for 71,000 blog posts, has over 500,000 visitors a month, and has over 430,000 referrals and backlinks. And so it is something that is very prolific, has a lot of really good things to say. And I kind of stumbled across this quote, something I had saved in one of my files, and just thought, oh, this is actually really good. He says this, and his blog posts are almost always pretty short, so it's easy to kind of remember them and refer back. I guess that accounts for some of the backtracking traffic that he gets on his posts. So this one was entitled "Impossible," and he writes this: "Our days are filled with the path to future skills, tasks, and commitments that we believe we can't possibly take on. We've seduced ourselves into believing that we are not born with the talent, or that the obstacles to doing the work are just too great. In fact, it is more likely that we have simply decided that the work isn't worth the effort, or the fear is too much to bear, but it is hardly impossible." And he concludes with this statement: "We just don't care enough." When I read that, I was like, wow, that is really powerful. Obviously, that is very poignant. It calls into great accountability the way that we approach the work that we are doing, the things that are in front of us, whether it be big moves we need to make, stuff that needs to be accomplished. And I was just, I read that quote probably every month or so as it shows up in a couple things that I note, places that I use on a regular basis, and it just kind of hit me hard again how powerful, how poignant that quote is. That his assertion is that we simply don't care enough. That's why we don't pursue the things that are in front of us. We don't do the things that we know we need to do. So I guess my encouragement to you, this is kind of how I've kind of used and referred to this quote, is that when I am faced with something that is difficult or seems too impossible, or something that I can't take on, I have to ask myself, am I using that impossibility as an excuse? And really, my biggest problem is I don't care. And the answer to that question sometimes has been, I simply don't care. And I need to be honest with myself about, okay, well, why is it that I don't care? And I know we've talked about this before. Self-evaluation is really tough. It is very difficult. Self-evaluation, if it's going to be an honest self-evaluation, requires us to get past the initial, well, here's the easy answer, and this gets me out of doing any of the hard work. Self-evaluation, when it is honest, when it is forthright, requires us a level of honesty that we don't often use in our culture. So maybe ask yourself this question when you are approached, when you have something difficult that you need to do. Is it that I'm scared of doing this because I'm afraid of failing, which is I think a legitimate fear, or is it that I simply don't care enough? And I'm going to kind of unpack a little bit more of these later on in one of these 4 minutes on Friday. But just as an initial place to begin, are we simply afraid of trying? Are we simply afraid of failing? Or have we just decided that we don't care enough to continue? All right. See you next Friday.